Friends, I've got a gorgeous episode for you today, a garden tour of my little house here on the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria, Australia. Now, if you loved my home tour earlier in the year, 97,000 views and counting, thank you for that. I think you're going to really enjoy this because it's the same idea, maximalist style in a small space. I've got three areas to show you. This breezeway here that connects the front gate through into the courtyard, and my favourite spot in the whole wide world, my happy place, my garden room, which is basically a two-car garage converted into a glamorous and gorgeous garden room. So come, let's have a cup of tea and enjoy the garden tour. Friends, welcome to the garden room. And if you've been with me, especially on Instagram or here on my YouTube channel, I thank you for that, of course. And welcome to the garden room is one of my favourite sayings because it is, in fact, of course, my favourite place in the world. This is my happy space, and I think that what women seem to particularly like about what I've done in this area is I've really claimed it as my own because it's, well, of course I would. I mean, you know, I'm here in my little house on my own. So this was very much a decision that I thought, you know what, I can do this two-car garage just in, you know, a typical size, you know, Australian home. So what is it? It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's kind of a square spot. And I literally, about 2 years ago now, in fact, I knew that I wanted to do this the moment that I actually saw the house because remember, I'm coming from my 2.5 acre flower farm to a 2-bedroom house, and when I saw this space I thought, you know what, I'm really going to need this to spread out and give myself an extra room. And in terms of the car, you know, I've got sort of other spots where that can be parked because I wanted this area. And look, yeah, 2 years ago I got to work on this, which is a really fun project. And you can, in fact, on Instagram, and thank you to everyone who has joined me on Instagram recently as well. It's just been so nice. What a great year we've had here on my YouTube channel and on Instagram, just, you know, really coming together, and lots of wonderful, wonderful new people that I'm meeting, you know, around the world. It's just the most incredible experience. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, so that whole process is on Instagram. You know how you've got the highlight reels on you know, the profile, and there is a little, you know, you've got roses and, you know, food or fashion or style or, you know, whatever, dahlias, whatever. And then there's a little section called the garden room, and how literally one day in July, which of course was, you know, the middle of winter here in Australia, we gutted everything out because, as you know, when you move into a house, you just use the garage typically as a bit of a dumping ground for, you know, boxes and suitcases, and I had a spare fridge, and, you know, there was a lot going on. So everything out. Painting, cleaning, freshening up, styling, chandelier, painting the floor, and then bringing in all my pretty things to create this incredible space. So just starting here, this is a very familiar scene. My fabulous, wonderful bench that I've got here, which is because ultimately, even though this is a very pretty spot, and I'll take you around the room in a moment, fundamentally, it's actually a real working space for me because, you know, I'm out here potting, constantly potting up, constantly gardening, doing things. I do all my little gardening tutorial videos on Instagram, and of course it's dahlia season, dahlia planting season here in Australia. So these, I was actually just telling the girls on Insta a couple of weeks ago, I actually found this whole box full of dahlia tubers that were looking really, really sad and dry and, you know, very neglected because frankly they had been. I felt very bad about that, you know, sorry about that. And then, you know, I just pulled them all out, put some beautiful compost on them. I've had them outside getting lots of lovely, you know, sunshine and rain and whatnot. And look, growing beautifully. So I do all my little tutorials here, planting pots of tulips in, you know, for the springtime, the dahlias, you know, rose things. We're always doing something here at this great bench. And, you know, I love this because it's just a great little sort of studio frame, if you like. And this is my notice board, which talk about instant gorgeousness, because that's just a couple of, I think 1, 2, 6, you know, basic sized, you know, little pin boards that you get at the newsagents or Target or, you know, Big W or wherever, you know, something for the office, something basic, something that, you know, the kids would have in their room. And I've then just got the handyman to put them all together. And in fact, some people might think it's sacrilege, but I actually had a spare copy of one of Charlotte Moss's books, and of course Charlotte Moss, along with the gorgeous Carolyn Rowe, along with Martha, along with you know, Bunny Mellon and Bunny Williams, and, you know, lots of wonderful women, you know, women who are real style doyens, women that I admire enormously, women who love to garden that I learned so much from. I had one of, yeah, as I said, spare book, and so it might be sacrilege to some, but these are in fact the pages from said spare book, which provide me with, you know, not only just something pretty to look at, but it's just, you know, lovely frame for when I'm doing all my bits and pieces. So that's this little spot here. Let's go around the room and yeah, I'll just show you what we've done here. It's a really pretty area. So in creating this space, my friends, it was all about, as I've just mentioned, certainly it had to be a place where I could work. You know, I mean, I'm out here potting up literally 365 days of the year. There's always something to do. So that station over there, you know, that bench is fantastic. A friend, her husband was moving warehouse, and she rang and said, listen, we've got a really big ass bench here. Do you want it? And I was like, yes, please. So fantastic. It's a great height for me to work. And look, I'm looking down, it's full of bags of potting mix and compost. All my tools are there and baskets of ribbons and things. So we're kind of working over there. But I knew too that, you know, I wanted this little extra space. And of course, if you've seen home tour, you know it's my little house. So this area had to be a place where I could get my girlfriends to come over and, you know, enjoy just the fun of this area in the garden. And on a sunny day when it's really, you know, it's been a bit windy and a bit grey lately, which we haven't had a great spring, which is disappointing. But look, I can see the sunshine coming through on a pretty day. It's gorgeous to be here. And I'll tell you actually something really quickly too, and you'll see it as we go through the room. with the garage door, I mean, it's a garage. Fundamentally, it's a garage, right? So when that door is up, do you know what it affords me? It brings the street into me as I'm also then going out onto the street. I can be here and be in contact with people, all the neighbours walking by, everybody with their dogs. In fact, I'll show you what I've actually even done with a very simple little space out the front. I've got the dog bowl down so that when the doggos are all walking around, they can come and have a little drink. So I can be working at the bench, chatting, waving. In fact, we've had a couple of funny instances on Instagram where, you know, we'll be doing the live or something and, you know, the neighbours are all, hello, hi, and how are you? And it's really fun. So even though I'm here on my own, I'm not alone. There's a whole streetscape out there to enjoy. So I love that. So again, it was very much about having my friends over and enjoying this area. So I wanted to be able to keep this setting, which is fabulous. And of course, I always gauge how old everything is by how old the kids are, because Alex was 31 last month, which makes me 102 practically. And I bought this setting, so it's 30 years old. And it kind of came out of that whole, you know, Rachel Ashwell, Shabby Chic fame, of course, is another, you know, style doyen that I really admire. And of course, her business and her beautiful work and all the lovely things that she's created. So it was very lime wash white. But in coming here, painting the floor black, and plus it was sort of really looking a bit old and tattered, so just had my handyman paint it black, and I love it. I think it looks super, super chic. The other thing I'm going to mention to you straight away too, in looking, you're probably wondering, what's the colour? Wall colour, right? It's a gorgeous green, a perfect you know, garden room green, and it's by Haynes Paints, which is, you can see the little swatch here. Haynes Paints, an Australian owned company, family company, and it is called, what's it called? Oh well, ladies, I think everybody understands, just senior moment and a blonde moment combined. It's called Invigorate. There you go, that's what I need. I need to invigorate myself. So gorgeous colour, and it just works with everything, as I think you can see. So black, green, and then just pile on all the pretty colours. So this table setting, what have I've lost 2 chairs over the years, but we've got the, you know, the lovely you know, main chairs, and then just these 2 little ones. And I like this because when it's not set for lunch, remember on home tour I said that even with my dining table, if it's not full of, you know, my beautiful friends and family around the table, I don't like to have an empty dining table. Plus, it's, you know, it's a really big area. You know, to me, it's an instant display board. Same in here. I've got all my gorgeous gardening books out here, and look, just, you know, everything's a bit, you know, and that was the other thing. We're not precious. We're certainly purposeful, productive, which I love. Not precious, but we're pretty. So that's why I really like this space. It doesn't matter if, you know, the leaves are blowing in underneath. Certainly, even though I had it all sealed and painted, you know, my handyman basically said to me, listen, and look, I can see a couple of daddy long legs up in the corner. So it's not a precious spot. That's what I'm trying to convey with that little message. So, you know, just some books, you know, a few little bits and pieces. I've got the Port Miriam here. And yeah, so come and we'll just have a little wander around the table and see what's here. I think one of life's great pleasures, my darlings, is to sit down, yes, with the ubiquitous cup of tea, most necessary, and enjoy walking through the pages and visiting the beautiful books that I have. I really enjoy it, and I've had so many beautiful books I've collected over many years, and it's like visiting friends, because when I look in the pages, I'm always inspired by something, might be a big detail or something small. And look at this, the beautiful purple. I love that this designer, Christopher Spitzmiller, he loves his purple too, and so I'm going to be adding lots of purple plain fabric to my outdoor soft furnishings. Walking through the pages of the book, exquisitely photographed. There's always lush, styling, beautiful flowers, wonderful fabrics. This is a great book, A Year at Clovebrook Farm. The foreword is done by Martha Stewart, and Carolyn Rome has reviewed it. And I love, look at this. Oh, that's just heaven right there on 2 pages. I love that all of these style doyens and mavens are good friends. So, it's Bunny and Alex Papachristides and Carolyn and Martha and Charlotte. They're all the #1 designers around the world. Looking through the pages of the books, as I said, it might be a small little floral arrangement or a big idea for your garden. And that's why beautiful books are important and treasured part of my time in the garden room. So from the home tour, and I know I jump over here and I jump over there, but I always come back to my point. But I just wanted to remind you, if you haven't seen home tour, look, just continues to just be, really fabulous, and we all had a lot of fun on that. But from that, I had a lot of requests, people saying, can we please see more detail? And so for my last video, which was called, Cook, Unbox, Set the Table, which is a lot of fun, I actually did a whole segment on my plates, my, napery, napkin rings, glassware, and really took you through the different collections that I've got. Amapola, the Botanic series, Port Merion, my absolute favourite. And these beautiful pink plates were very popular as well. So if you have some time and you love your plates, I recommend that you sit down with a little glass of wine or a gin and tonic or something and just enjoy that. It's I literally, on the kitchen table, I lay out absolutely everything, and with the napkins and napkin rings, and just show you how. And I've mentioned this many times, I approach setting the table in the way I approach getting dressed. It's really like an event. What am I doing? Who's coming? What's the vibe? Are we indoors? Are we outdoors? Are we in the garden room? Are we dressy? Is it a celebration? A birthday? Is it casual? And that will determine what my plates are, what styling I'm going to do, what flowers I'll do, and particularly that whole, mix and match of colours and patterns, and the charger and the salad plate, and it's a really good little workshop actually, so you might enjoy that. So these little pink plates are out here. I can't tell you where they're from. They're also 20 years old, if not 30 years old. And just some casual, pretty little plates here for, out here in the garden room. I do tend, obviously, to make things more casual, and I do just love having the bamboo cutlery here because, that's obviously garden-esque, isn't it? I've mentioned talking about the mineral water bottles. I remember about that. And yeah, let me just show you. I love this little section here as well. Again, I'm always, as you would have seen, with homewares, and in fact here as well, if there is a wall, like also out in the Breezeway, I make the most of it. And to be practical, I've got some of my tools here, just, a few little bits and pieces, some pretty little, bees, birds, butterflies, I absolutely love. And love this piece. That's a 3-tiered stand. That's 30 years old as well. So any little corner, any wall, always an opportunity for, styling and telling a story. Yeah. So I'm going to reference yet another one of my videos. I mean, I've only done 6 all years. So you think I had this whole library collection to talk about, but I did just want to say, have you watched From Fashion to Flowers, which is really my autobiography, if you like, talking about my fashion background, the days as one of Melbourne's early personal shoppers, styling women at one of the big department stores that I worked at, and how I did that for many, many years in my own career. Then journeying through, the cancer battles that I've had. I am a 4-time cancer survivor, which is pretty, sometimes I think of it and I think, what says you're an okay kind of a gal. I tell you what, I always say, I've had the highs have been high and the lows have been low, and through it all, I've managed to just find what it is within myself that's enabled me to just, we fall down in life, but the key that I've really learned, and I hope I encourage other women with when I share my stories here on my channel with the videos and on Instagram. Just get back up. Resilience, I think, is one of the most attractive qualities that anyone can have. So that's just my little message for today. Things can get tough, but you know what? The season doesn't stay the same. It always does. It always changes. So I then went out to my farm. I created that beautiful flower farm. It was just the most fantastic creative experience. So that's a great video. Yet again, if you've got an hour to spare, sit around and watch that. I think you'll enjoy it. It had an incredible impact and wonderful messages from women all over the world. Again, so I love you guys for when you share your thoughts with me. Now, from that time at the farm, look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? An original piece of artwork. One of my lovely ladies, Mariana, who came out to the farm one day, but she actually saw this photo from a post. Sorry, this is her beautiful piece of artwork that she gave me, that she took from a post that I did on Instagram out at the farm, as you can see here. So here's the piece of artwork, here's the post, and how precious is it, this gorgeous piece. It's just wonderful for me to have it. Look, there's the yellow Limoges teacup and my gardening hash, sunnies, the dahlias, they're the lavender, the trees, just the pretty tablecloth. I love my tablecloths from Provence. I think that's just the most, sweet thing ever. So again, a wall, it's a plain wall, but a little pretty table, little flowers, bees, bit of greenery, just pretty. You can do anything. Again, one of my favourite things to do, just a little cutout from, I think they were postcards. They're 30 years old, that's just pressed, tin, and pretty little picture frame. So colour, flowers, greenery, pretty things, and a plain wall can turn into a whole story. Here, let's go and have a cup of tea. Come on. I love my cups of tea, my darling. So a really good thing that I've done is to put a little tea and coffee station here in the corner when I'm working in the garden room, because it means that I don't have to stop what I'm doing and trudge inside and take my boots off and all of that. So I can be sufficient out here. And, if a friend drops in when I've got the doors flung open, I can pop the kettle on for us. And I especially like Australian Twinings afternoon tea. It's really robust, strong tea that I really like. I think there's nothing nicer than, being able to sit down amongst my books and just enjoy a really beautiful cup of tea. Nothing nicer. So I just wanted to mention something because a lot of you girls know, and in fact we've shared, our similar stories of, I grew up with a very beautiful, gorgeous mother, and again, from fashion to flowers, I have, it's an homage to my parents, my beautiful father, John Foster, and my gorgeous mother, Patricia Foster, who really was my style icon. She was the most chic, elegant woman, and as I like to say, my mother had elan. She was just a real knockout in lots of ways. And when I think about my life too, I know she would just be so proud of me and happy for me to see that, all these years later, post-divorce, post-cancer, that, I've really found, 63 next month, excuse me, but grateful and thankful for it. So she would be really thrilled to see that I've been able to reinvent myself, find a place, in the world. I've created it myself, where I belong, who I am, liking myself, and living my life the way that I want to with the people that I love. So I've got to tell you, so Mummy passed away, in December 9 years ago, but here she is in this very chic urn. My mother was the great classic beauty and beautiful dresses, so I think she'd approve of being in chic black with touches of gold. So Mummy is in the urn, so that when I do sit round with my gal pals or having, a little party in here, little drinks, little shams, or a cup of tea, whatever it might be, Pat is here with all the gals, and I kind of like that. How fab was the garden room? I hope you really enjoyed that, my darlings. And, as I keep saying, the best thing I've ever done for myself, best investment, best use of resources and money. So, it's such a great space. So, of course, now we come out of that area, just walk through the little breezeway, and we're here now in my front courtyard. And I think the thing that might surprise you is it's actually not really about the plantings that are here. This garden, I think, is made, there's great structure here, I'll talk about that in a moment, but overall, really what I want to share with you is that this space, which is only small, it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 metres across, and then lengthwise I think we're about 10 metres or so, so it's only small. It's really about the styling, because there's not a lot of area for the planting, but it's more about, the structure that's here. We've already got the beautiful trees, the Chanticleer pears, which provide, wonderful structure. The paving was already here, so I've gutted it, but there's really not a lot of room to plant. But what I've got in here certainly works. But really what it's about, and in fact, look, I'm holding up. This is she is my style icon, the wonderful Carolyn Rome in her book. I'm going to have to put it down. I know lots of you have got this at home in the garden, just the most exquisite, gorgeous book. And I'll tell you a really lovely story. I actually got to meet Carolyn and her wonderful partner Simon, who's Australian. He's a Victorian chap, gorgeous Simon. I met them back in 2016, and it was a case of, really how fantastic to meet someone I have long admired. So I'm taking my style direction from Carolyn. I'll tell you a really nice, as I said, a little story. I cherish this photo of being with Carolyn at the Windsor Hotel in Melbourne in 2016. She and Simon, as I said, were out here visiting family, and just through a really gorgeous series of serendipitous moments, I was able to meet her and join them for the morning. We had many hours together, and in fact then went to lunch. And, if I do say so myself, we had a really special connection on the day. It was just, it's something I really treasure for the rest of my life. And so Carolyn had just released this gorgeous book, At Home in the Garden, which remains my absolute favourite book of all time. And she generously gifted it to me and wrote me a really beautiful message that I'm always going to treasure. So this is in fact moments from one of my lives, and you can go back and watch this, and I encourage you if you want to, because it's a great hour-long live walking through the pages of this incredible book that, of course, Carolyn also contributes so much photography to. She does all the beautiful watercolours. I mean, she's so talented. And as I said to her on the day, she's an educator, a great teacher. I have been so inspired by her style. I've learned so much. I've, modelled a lot of my styling and decor on the inspiration that she has given me over the years, like many of us. So I encourage you, sweeties, go back and enjoy this live, strolling through the beautiful pages of At Home in the Garden with the one and only gorgeous Carolyn Roan. What I've learned is that it's really about creating rooms. It's about bringing indoor furniture out and outdoor furniture in. I mix everything up. It's about, beautiful flowers, cushions, candles, books, cups of tea. So, yeah, I'll take you around this little space. As I've said, the structure was here. So in that regard, it's a true courtyard. And what I love about it more than anything is that, it's walled. It's a walled garden, even though it's only small. So it's very private from, that perspective. And this backdrop just gives me, all of this space to play with and style up. And the Chanticleer pears, of course, lose their leaves in the winter, and it's all very quiet here in winter time. But come spring, we get those beautiful blossoms, and all of this furniture is stored, but I do just bring out one of the round tables, the round table that you saw in the garden room, and we can just have like a little lunch or something until it warms up, until the weather stabilises. Hello, thank goodness for a beautiful day today. Then I set this space up for the summer. So all of this is already here. And yeah, just so as I said, it's really about the styling. So just, I'll take you through all of that, hey? So what I'm doing, because I want this to be a room, I'm cutting the branches of the pear trees. You can see where where they're beginning, because nothing's growing underneath them in the summer. There's obviously this, the reason why these are so gorgeous, it's that beautiful shade, the dappled light. I love to just lie here with a cup of tea and a book, and, I'll just drift off to sleep some afternoons. And remember too, we're very close to the beach, so I'm getting that gorgeous, sea breeze that comes in the afternoon. I mean, it's just, on a hot summer's day, lovely shade, sea breeze, cups of tea, it's a really nice little spot to be in. So I'm cutting those at a height because I want all of this room underneath to use. So I've got an old console table here, and it doesn't matter, it's an old wooden console table I've had for 20 years. Doesn't matter that it's out here for a season, it gets, bashed in. But what does it provide straight away? Exactly, it provides some great display, gives me somewhere to display, and it gives me height. And so, yeah, this is a whole, I might get a job in visual merchandising at a department store somewhere. What do you reckon? Because this tells a story. The other thing that I really enjoy is just, a couple of simple plants. Here I've got the beautiful mop top hydrangea, classic white, set against the green. To me, that's just chic, elegant. Remember, I've referenced already. Colour palette here, it's just got to be kept really edited. So green, white, and of course my favourite, purple, lilac, mauve, that kind of thing. White hydrangeas, perfect. Got some beautiful clematis climbing on the black obelisks. And of course the colour of the house is called Monument Grey. It's a Dulux colour and super chic. It's a really nice sort of French grey, just that perfect grey. So the colours have to all work together and they're very chic, elegant and simple. This is also what's working. I've just got some, every year I'll buy some fresh hydrangeas, the big ones, in the urn, just on a little table there. And because I'm, me, I like matchy. And that's what gives it balance, because in a small space, I think that if you've got balance and structure and things are neat, that actually works. I think if you had lots of different things going on in a small space, well, it's just my preference to do it that way. Of course, everybody does their own thing, which we love. Everybody, you do you, doll. I'm always saying that. But for me, you can see I just like that structure and elegance. And repetition is what I think, 1, 2, and 3, the little pot there. And of course, remember too, white hydrangeas, well, hydrangeas in general, are the flower for us here in Australia at Christmas time. Yeah, repetition, tight colour palette, working everything in together, the cushions, the tables, the urns there, the box balls, and even these gorgeous little lamps, just as a little pop of accessory. So I like that. I think it works really nicely. So you can see, this gorgeous, the big display of the glamorous, mop top hydrangeas. And I like the mop top. That really is my absolute favourite. So these girls will just perform beautifully all summer long. I mean, they are a bit temperamental, but you've just got to look after them, don't you? Water, first thing in the morning and or at night. And my other little thing that I'll show you is I've got my little spray bottle. If you've been watching me for any length of time and seen my garden, when we were doing the spring basket, I've got my little spray bottle. So watering first thing or later in the evening and giving them a spritz just to keep them kind of, fresh and pretty looking. Lovely big urn there. But I just put in, the little, because where the space is tight, you can see I've just got like a light, pretty little table there. So that enables me to have the room, to have the two. Look, and you can see matching pairs of things really is my preference. Love these just on the side of, there's the garden room in there, and these lattice panels. I had these made, 20 years ago, just as a decorative thing. I've got some wisteria in a pot. So the whole thing is, we know wisteria can be, demanding, but in a pot, I can just grow it up and display it across the lattice there, which gives me, the beautiful colour, that pop of wonderful colour that I like. And so, furniture-wise, let me tell you about my favourite piece of all time. you can see straight away, can't you? I think, my darlings, that this space, even though it's small, I really use, and I think throughout all of my videos, what I've conveyed, I hope I have, is that, you know, with my home, it's not just for me, it's for all of my beautiful friends, my gorgeous kids and, you know, their partners. People love to come over. People love to be in this space. You know, my girlfriends come over, you know, we'll have a little, you know, gin tonic on a Friday night sometimes, you know, cups of tea during, you know, the weekday, whatever it is. So certainly both with my home and my garden, I style it to suit me. Of course, I'm the mistress of the house, and but it's always with that thing in mind of sharing it with the people that I love. And speaking of the people that I love, and that's just, of course, what we always do, have cups of tea along the way. So this piece, I have to tell you, this is the most treasured thing I have from my mother. And of course, throughout all my videos as well, you know, I talk a lot about my beautiful mother, Patricia. And this piece, I remember her buying when I was about 15. So, you know, I'm 63 in a few weeks' time. So this is this is the real deal vintage. You can't find anything like this anymore. The wonderful old cane chaise lounge. And it's gone through, I don't know how many versions of different spray painting. I've only just found a furniture restorer she's actually going to go in for a big makeover early next year. So we'll enjoy her for the next few weeks over Christmas and summer, and then I'll actually get her properly restored, because I think she's really, after 50 years, she deserves a little TLC. But it's such a great piece, so we can fit 3 people here. And it's, as I said, you know, I'll lie down and just, you know, waft away reading a book or whatever. And I love this space too because, you know, lovely clear blue sky today, because we're at the beach. There's, you know, the choppers flying over. I love all the activity in the sky, to hear them as well. So with this chaise, you can see I've just got this really gorgeous fabric on it. This is an Elliott Clark fabric. Now, I had this made, 30 years ago. So this is, not 30, I beg your pardon, 25. You know, let's split the 5 years difference. Just a really chic, classic, gorgeous fabric. And again, it's that thing of, as with my wardrobe, as with my home, my decor, everything, indoors, outdoors, chic, simple, elegant, feminine, classic, timeless, all of those aesthetics and values really reflect who I am. And I think, you know, I can go on for this. My kids will inherit this, you know, and one day I love the idea of Olympia or Alex, you know, being in their family home with their kids, sitting on it and saying, do you know what? This was your great-grandma's chaise, and this fabric was your grandma's choice back in 2002 or something like that. It's a great story to think of. So mixing and matching, picking out the colours. We've got the cream, we've got the, you know, green, we've got the beautiful pinks, and just mixing it with all the other things around. It's a gorgeous piece. So the double doors here obviously really inform the space as well, and, you know, provide that structure, and just one little step down. So this is where, the hydrangeas on either side, the black obelisk with the purple clematis. You know, it's just terribly simple, but it just provides, you know, just a really nice kind of structure to this area. You know, when I talk about styling for the garden, you know, and creating, as we have, you know, this garden room, and as I've said, you know, I have no problem. You know, I move furniture in and out, and, you know, I've got the gorgeous little, you know, purple French provincial chair there. We've got the chaise, and, oh, I must tell you too about this fabulous wicker couch. I've actually got 2 extra seats with that, you know, about 15 years old now. And so again, it's always about buying pieces that, you know, that have got gravitas, things that are going to last. You know, I'm not into groovy, modern, hip, you know, sharp, anything that's, you know, well, I think we can all guess it's just all girly, it's all glamorous, and it's all, you know, a little bit of fun. So one other thing that I actually like to do too, and only if I know that the weather's going to cooperate, just putting down this rug. Now, look, it's an old one, it's a spare one, it lives in the storage room, so it's not the most, you know, perfect thing. And I think that's also something else I'd say about, you know, when you're creating spaces in your garden, you know, perfection doesn't exist. It's not possible. You know, leaves are going to fall, and, you know, things are going to look, you know, they're outdoors, a bit of rust here and a bit chipped away out there. That sort of thing doesn't bother me. So on that point, this rug, a little bashed in, but I don't care. But I actually quite like how it looks in this space, in this particular setting on this day. And it really does, in the way that a good rug, you know, anchors a room indoors. I think it's doing the same thing here, which I really like. So again, we've got the fabulous wicker table. I've got 2 extra seats here. Sometimes I've got little lime wash, you know, furniture sitting here. Sometimes I've got more solid chairs, you know, whatever the occasion is. Always bringing out cushions, throws, books, always ready for a little cup of tea, some flowers. And yeah, just, I think the most important thing is for us to enjoy, you know, enjoy the spaces we've got, have everybody over, and yeah, enjoy a sunny, happy day. Here's a little styling tip, my darlings. You see me do this a lot. If I've got a pot and the bloom haven't quite filled it out yet, just pop a little bit of faux fruit there to cover the potting mix. This is Quicksilver climbing over the arch in the courtyard there, a beautiful mauve rose. And you can see the lovely shade coming from the Chanticleer pears, perfect on a hot summer's day. And of course, pots and pots of white hydrangeas, perfect for the cool courtyard. Just something a little bit different, giving the feeling of that potager style of garden. So here under the archway, I've put down some beautiful mignonette lettuce and some cos lettuce, and I think both of them have a really handsome appearance and structure as well that somehow suits being an underplanting. Another rose that I love is Kiss Me Kate, which is such a fun name. Beautiful, vigorous climbing rose, pale pink, gorgeous, fragrant. She's loving life here at the moment, just beautiful on a summer's day. So that fragrance really fills in, you know, near the front door there. So as you can see, my darlings, at a glance, there's nothing formal about this little front courtyard garden at all. But I do think it's got a really nice, elegant appearance because everything works together. So first things first, my darlings, if you're out in the garden, you must be Sun Smart, that's right. So I've always got a really high SPF 50 foundation on, and of course a beautiful hat. And don't you love this? This is called, I thought it was really perfect, it's called Garden Glory from Fiona Schofield, who's one of Australia's top milliners, gorgeous Fiona. And I've had this for, 3-4 years now. And in fact, I've actually been here in this property for 4 years now. So when you see the whole picture of it, I'm literally standing in the farthest most corner that I can. I've been in this property now for 4 years, and this is a new space that I did in fact only a year ago. It was December. So just giving these dahlias a drink. So I actually have these beautiful beds made, that gorgeous, those lovely, really chic, smart beds. There was a kitchen garden here before, but it was really no man's land. And so I just knew this is, you come in from the Breezeway, this is valuable real estate, little tiny dahlia coming up here. And of course, you're seeing it before you even hit the front door. So in terms of property, valuable real estate. And valuable real estate for me as a gardener, because there's just nothing here. And I thought, right, I'm going to have these really smart beds built, and so I can have more dahlias. And I'm just giving them all the little drinkies now. They've just been planted. Got some clematis, some lovely, beautiful clematis here. Some people say, so I noticed that over in the UK, they say clematis, and in Australia, lots of people say clematis, and in the US, they say clematis. So, a case of you say potato, I say potato, you say tomato, I say tomato. So yeah. So let me just finish this up, just giving them all a really good little drink. And so in doing this, you could see now, I'm able to utilise, this was literally dead space. I think there was a horrible rubber plant here right in the corner. And of course, that's my spare bedroom. So if you're lying in bed, I wanted people to be able to look out and see, be really close to the garden. So these are all gorgeous dahlias, and come summer, this is all full of huge, bright, beautiful blooms. And I can sit here at the table, have a cup of tea, put my flowers there, and if you're inside, you get a gorgeous view as well. So there you go. One of the pleasures of having this small little garden out the front here is, of course, hand watering. I don't need irrigation. I like to do first thing in the morning and give everything a little drinky poo. So these are the dahlias that are just coming up now that we're into summer. Just to tell you quickly, those little ribbons are purely decorative. It's only a small little space, and I want everything to look pretty always. And using vertical, you can see, love the baker's stand here. It's just full of little gardening bibs and bobs, watering cans and birds, and purple petunias are a signature for me in lots of little pots. And as you can see, there's use of vertical lines, use of every little nook and cranny, especially into this corner where I can put the table there. Got some gravel down, the fine beds, fine steel of those dahlia beds keeps things looking light and delicate, and the clematis, of course, using the vertical there. And then in a few weeks' time, look how the dahlias have popped. Oh, and the roses have been blown to smithereens. The little space keeps blooming. So I have to tell you, friends, I think one of the most important people that you can have in your life, for women, what do we need? We need the good hairdresser, we've got to have the good manicurist, the good facialist. And the other very important person in my life are the women who make my soft furnishings. And I've had some great women over the years, Carol and Kate, and now I've got fantastic Carmen and Laurie, who do all my soft furnishings, because, you know, I remember Carol made this for me, you know, 15 years old. And this is where, you know, picking, again, you know, don't you just love that fabric, just with that really classic bamboo print, perfect for the garden in the perfect green. So just having an outdoor fabric as well. So again, might have been a little bit of money up front, but certainly has been worth every penny. If you think of 15 summers and all the bums that have sat on that seat over the years, right? Investing in really timeless, classic, you know, good quality. I always say, in doing my fashion consulting, I'd say to women, buy the classics first. You know, the good white shirt, the fantastic tan, neutral trench coat, a beautiful black dress, you know, a good piece for evening, and the best handbag, the best shoes that you can afford at the time, because those things, you know, they transcend fashion, transcend trends. They're always perfect and you always wear them and enjoy them. Same with your soft furnishings. So I just wanted to point that out and just, you know, make sure that there might be somebody that, you know, rather than buying things in the stores, which is great, and we all love a good bit of retail therapy, but I think when you get your things made, you know, it's like, you know, I get all my little shirts and things made, you know, it just gives you that little, you know, that extra individual touch that you cannot have if you're buying at the superstores and things. Anyway, just my thinking there. Now, let's go to the shades, and I'm going to show you, we're going to workshop 3 different looks here. So we've gone from that beautiful classic Elliott Clark tulip print that I said I've had for about 20 years, and I'm just going to show you how to mix and match with some other fabrics and how it will change straight away the look of the whole garden room. Having a variety of furniture and a variety of soft furnishings really helps me to create different stories on different days. Sometimes I'll bring out the little French provincial chair for if it's a more formal gathering. I've got the girls over for a drink. Some days it's just all about the cane furniture, the wicker furniture, and different stories with the soft furnishings. This classic bamboo trellis is one of my favourites, and I've had it for about 15 years. Sometimes I'm more formal. I love the little lilac striped cushions here and a selection of flowers. This is what I'm growing in this small space. Climbing roses like Blossom Time, Quicksilver like Nahima, but then pots of hydrangeas or salvia, lavender as well, the clematis. But you can see at a glance that very edited colour palette, lilac, mauve, soft pinks, all works together. So be assured, friends, even if you have that small garden, use your vertical space as much as possible to grow as much as possible. And bringing your outdoors, indoors, your indoors, outdoors, cushions, throws, candles, your books, everything, dresses, even lamps if we're here in the evening. And look at this fabric from Elliott Clark, the tulip print, as classic and as stylish and beautiful as ever. I have to tell you, I love this Breezeway, my darlings, and you can imagine why. Well, firstly, how's the name? It's called Breezeway. I've never lived anywhere that had a Breezeway before, have you? And of course, because we are, I mean, I am literally in the most rock star pole position here in my little street with the beach, literally a hop, skip and a jump. Right up at the end of my street, across the road. On a hot day in summer, I have to tell you, I put my bathers on. Oh, I just don't care what I look like. You know, big white beach shirt that I have, you know, my hat, and I just toddle over the road towel, of course, and go for a swim first thing in the morning. And it's just delicious. It's one of the great joys of living down at the beach, you know. And of course, I loved my country property. I loved being on the farm, as you know, but nothing quite beats the beach to swim, which of course I love to do. So the Breezeway is here, obviously to allow the sea breeze to come through, and the way the property is built, you know, it just flows through so nicely. So I've got, and I'm not going to show you from a security point of view because I've got my front gate, and when it's locked, nobody gets in and nobody even knows if I'm home or not, which I love personally. It's a very secure property, which is first and foremost very important. So, but essentially, what is it? It's just an entranceway, and of course it's keeping, you know, it's the same monument grey and it's the same tiles, but it was an empty wall, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, you know me and an empty wall, I mean, it just won't do. So first thing is I have this most fantastic old garden bench, potting bench. Look at this, and a friend's dad actually made this for me. He was a master carpenter, and I had this at my city home, which is our old family home, so, you know, 20 years ago or so. And it's just been going with me everywhere I've gone. It comes with me because it's just a beautiful, solid piece, and I love it because it immediately, again, provides me with it's a display bench. So straight away, I had the old grey mirror there. Somebody needs to come home and give that a little wipe down. But look, it's outdoors, and again, this is where I sort of talk about anything outdoors. If it's a bit old, a bit bashed in, a bit chipped, got a bit of rust, got a bit of a, you know, a bit of a crack in it, I just don't fuss with things like that. If you're outdoors and you're, you know, you're sort of copying it, look, you know, everything is what it is. So the mirror barely has any paint on it, but I kind of like that, you know, lime wash chipped effect. So I'm using this obviously to its best advantage. You know, I've got some things underneath. Usually I have all my tools or some gardening products that I just store here. And what I love about it too is that, you know, we can just, I'm just going to give this a little water. These pretty French pots, which I love. I actually just want to give a little shout out to friends Diane and Neil, who've got a really gorgeous, in fact, it's one of my favourite stores, very popular here on the Mornington Peninsula in Tired, which is one of the suburbs around that's known for all the antique stores. So if ever you come to the Mornington Peninsula, go to Tired, because they've got, that's where all the bric-a-brac, second-hand, antique, you know, stores are, which are, you know, the thrift stores, which are fantastic. There's a whole heap of them there. But their store is in fact a beautiful, very glamorous homeware store. And I got these gorgeous French pots from them just last week, which I'm loving. That squat one particularly, that's going to be pretty. I've got some lovely mint in here at the moment, but that's going to be gorgeous for little mini daffs or something in the spring. Just some faux hydrangeas here in the basket, little bits of petunias, obviously the gorgeous hydrangeas here in purple. I mean, you know, he's a pretty girl, just my favourite flower. So this is a whole little display area for me, and you know, it just, as it said, doesn't matter that, you know, if I'm watering and water drips down here, it's all fine. It's just all to be used and enjoyed, and just to create, you know, that nice impact. I've got my gorgeous, you know, the old kitchen breakfast stools here, my boots out. So coming out of the garden room, you know, as we do, people are walking through either the entrance there or coming in through here. And again, it's just all about creating a room, an atmosphere with colour and pretty things to look at. And this is one of my favourite spaces. This is how to do a lot with a little. This area right outside the garden room, I've had this table made, bit of wrought iron with a concrete top, and the whole purpose of being out here is to do a lot with that empty wall. But for the space to be productive and practical, you can see I've had the tap brought up to bench height, so that's good for my back when I'm working. Bring out a galvanised bucket, I can wash my hands. When I'm outside digging around, I don't have to come inside to do that job. And also, if I've been to the market, for example, I've got buckets of flowers, they need to be, cut and trimmed and put in vases and things. I can do all that very messy work out here in the driveway. Don't you love the dog bowl? A really nothing space becomes something, which I absolutely love. And then on the other side, it's the beautiful Gertrude Jekyll climbing rose and some wisteria. And the trick with wisteria on a small wall is to manage it, keep it clipped and trimmed, but it blooms so beautifully, it's really worthwhile having. Well, there you have it, my darlings. That was a garden tour. Maximalist style, as you can see, in small spaces. I think the thing that I really hope you come away from watching this video, and thank you for spending the time with me today, is to always just, believe in what you're doing for yourself, because ultimately our home, our garden, really is such a reflection of who we are, our personality, our style, our preferences, our colours, and nothing is right or wrong. I mean, I think you can see, look, I'm not posh, I'm not well-to-do, I'm not fancy pants or anything, but I think I have a really beautiful, lovely life because I embrace what I have. I make the very most and best of it. I love everything that I have, and yes, it was like in house tour. Sure, yeah, look, I've got cushions and books and boxes and chairs and tables and candles and chandeliers and all sorts of things. Nothing, no possession that you have is really what's going to make you happy. It's what's inside your heart. The love that you have with your family and friends. Speaking of which, I've just got a little table set up here because the kids are coming over this afternoon just to have a little drinky poos with me. And that is really what makes your home and garden, what you get to share with all your friends and families. But what could we take away from today? Small spaces, well, I think also like the house, you sometimes think, if it's small, then I really shouldn't have a lot in it. No, not at all. I got it, I put it in there, I jam everything in together and somehow it all, works nicely. I mean, it is about balance, that's true. And, colour, such an important aspect of our lives. I mean, look, I'm standing here, I'm looking out, it's a blue sky, I can see green grass, I can see, the flowers. I've got Gertrude Jekyll growing out here, hot pinks and purple wisteria. I've got some petunias over there, I've got some red cabbage. It's colour which really lifts your mood and sings to you. Pretty things, feminine things. I think in a world it can be a bit tough out there. Bring beauty into your life and use everything. Everything is out. I save everything, I use it, I love it, and I share it. So, don't save things for a rainy day thinking, tomorrow and it'll come, and today is the day. So on that note, my loves, look, and this little corner here, I've got to tell you, this tablecloth, 30 years old, that is just the classic Spotlight, which is our big furniture and fabric store here in Australia. So that's just their classic gingham, pretty things, little cheese platter. We've got the verve, I'm about to pop that, I'm actually quite hungry. And just, make things pretty in a really simple way. In fact, on that note, here's my mop pulling up. There you have. How's that for timing? Sweeties, it's always great to spend time with you too, and I hope you've had a really happy hour or so with me today. And, you know, I look forward to having your company, as I always do, when we're together for next time. Oh, I might save this for Alex to open. He can do that job. So, sweeties, just wrapping up, sending you all my love, best wishes to you and your families, and I look forward to your company when we're together again next time. Until then, lots of love. God bless. Bye now.